Alright, welcome back to another video. This is going to be an exciting one. I've been sent some unseen footage from RedMaster to do a replay analysis. Now, this is hopefully the start of a series that I would like to do. If you have any of your own videos that you'd like me to analyze and see if I can find any places to improve, you can contact me in the comment section or somewhere else, and I'll try to find a way to get clips from you, and I'll do a replay analysis just like this one, and hopefully it can help you out. Anyway, let's look at this first game, and it looks like RedMaster is playing a mix of druids and pirates. Now, this is the first time I'm watching this game, so everything will be just as much of a surprise, and I'll offer suggestions as to how I might play it differently. Alright, so RedMaster's opponent is a Viking and Druid combo, and it looks like he got pretty lucky with a nice starting hand. Lots of early game cards, and so far everything is playing out with an easy opening. So let's see, it looks like he's playing Dwarf Miner, smart choice here. This way he's going to be able to trade evenly with the Flying Drake. If he played Elvish Thief, then he will not quite be able to kill the Flying Drake, but the Drake will be able to kill the Thief and survive with 1 health. Alright, so his opponent does not play anything. Let's see how he proceeds. Alright, so first thing that I might suggest here is that Matty could have been played on this square right here. You always summon right below where the Matty is played, unless it's not possible, in which case it'll look to summon above. So if you summon your Matty here, the mage will summon right behind the castle, and that allows you to move forward 2 spaces and be set up for a better positioning. Whereas when RedMaster summoned where he is, a normal mage will position up in this top square, and in this case it's not a normal mage. He got a headmaster, which is in a non-awakened deck effectively just another 2 gold dwarven miner, and I also think he shouldn't have rushed all the way forward, as if his opponent is running a scout or something that can make an easy trade this turn with the headmaster, it's easy to do it right from the start. In my opinion, RedMaster should have positioned the headmaster right 1 square behind where he is. Anyway, let's see how it proceeds. Although I do commend that he separated his units so as to not be subject to a thunder strike or any sort of chain lightning. So, quick trade there, not so bad. Let's see what he decides to use. Now, a lot of people in this situation, I feel, would use a coin and Dino Rider, which is not a bad choice, but I don't think it's the most beneficial. You want to hang on to your coin until it's really going to give you some sort of power spike, not just when you have a cool card that you want to play. Alright, Beastmaster comes out, buffs up a little bit. I presume RedMaster is going to attack with his con artist here, and then send a centaur to kill the Beastmaster. Let's see if that's correct. Perfect. It's an efficient trade, and with the leftover gold he can summon an Elvish Thief. Oh, interesting, he does not attack. I suppose the 1 extra gold wasn't going to be of use this turn, so he'd rather hold on to it, but the con artist has 4 health, which is rather low. If Thunderbird had summoned if he had summoned a unit that can take it out in 1 blow, then you might as well get the extra attack onto the Faithful Drake. This turn, that didn't happen, so RedMaster is able to put out a Tyrannosaur and Fear an Elvish Thief forward. Great play. And we'll see he's planned ahead, set up for his next turn where he can play a Dino Rider to buff the Tyrannosaur. I think Thunderbird made a mistake in positioning there. Had he summoned behind his castle, he could have gone forward to here to attack the Con Artist and then rushed forward and killed the Tyrannosaur. Knowing that it's a Dino deck, the Tyrannosaurs can get quite devastating very quickly. Oh, see here, RedMaster does the positioning better. Oh, and a small mistake. He should have, he recognized it, should have played the Dino Rider before attacking with the Tyrannosaur to make use of the extra attack. Now let's see, Thunderbird has a Ranger that can easily be taken out. And this time we'll see Red doing another Tyrannosaur, and that's going to be the end of the turn. He wants to save a little bit in his hand for future turns. If he plays the Southport Captain, now he's left with no resources. And he has plenty of gold for his next turn to be able to play all his cards, so there's no need to get everything out on the field. It'll just create opportunities for a big lightning play. Alright, let's see how this happens. He's got a Dwarven Scope and a Bestial Rage. I would be betting that he should be placing them both onto the Tyrannosaur, and he should take out the Blacksmith and then running back into position and killing the Knight with his Mage. Okay. Instead, he's just going to rush forward. This will probably work out for him. It's just a slightly more risky route. The opponent could easily freeze here. If you have a unit such as this Tyrannosaur that's got 3 cards necessary to be able to have played it in the first place, and it's such a reliant card, you want to keep it safe as much as possible. Don't put it in any risks. But overall, a good win, fairly clean, and well played by RedMaster. Alright, let's hop into game 2, and we see he's swapped out some high cost cards for some low cost cards. A pretty standard mulligan, and a perfect card to trade with the Salahar Rider. Gets another Lumberjack in return, and we'll see this time that RedMaster is playing against Raylas on red-blue. Oh, perfect. So here's a mistake that Raylas made. Again, anytime you're up against a pirate deck, you should assume they have Elvish Thief, and don't rush your Lumberjack forward 3 spaces. Instead, put him in this square in front of your castle. Now, I think that... Okay. So I would have played that a little bit differently. Let's backtrack a bit. Instead of playing the Maddie with a coin and a Rat Hovel, we can look at RedMaster's hand here and see that he's got 2 Mordocks, and those are both 8 gold. They're not going to be able to be played for a while. In my opinion, it would be best to save the metal for turn 7, where you can play a Mordock followed by another Mordock. It'll give you much more of a power spike than getting a slightly earlier Maddie or a slightly earlier Rat Hovel. But what I would have done here instead of that is just play a Lumberjack and then a Rat Hovel off to the side. You want to make sure you're playing the Rat Hovel off to the side because it is up against Vikings, and directly behind the castle leads to some ugly chain lightning. So let's see how he positions the units. Alright, perfect. Nothing can be attacked on the opponent's next turn. So it's defensive, but a strong board presence. Now, I haven't mentioned yet, but we have seen a dragon temple come out for Raylas, which means this is a dragon-based deck. Ooh. And he chose to summon, or he chose to use his Blue Fire Bolt on the wrong target, in my opinion. The Magic Eater is not nearly as much threat as a Hovel that's going to produce free damage turn after turn. So RedMaster's playing this one very well. He's got the board presence. He's just going to continue to rush forward and just dare Raylas to try and stop him. Alright, a very clean victory. Not many changes I would make to this one. Very well done. Alright, back in game number 3, we're swapping out the Tyrannosaur, getting a dinosaur nest in return. This time we're playing against Orking, and Orking is running a red-green deck. So we're not quite sure what that is. It could be a bunch of things. I might guess that's a burn-based deck or a swarm deck. Those tend to be popular. Alright, nothing on the first turn. So RedMaster is going to rush forward. And let's see what he does. Now, this is the right play in this case, but I want to highlight that if RedMaster did not have a 3 gold card in hand, I would recommend that he rush his Elvish Thief forward, so that if the enemy attacks it, he gets 4 gold and he can play another card. But in this case, since he does have a Con Artist, I agree with the choice he's made to position it in front of the castle here in this safe spot. Alright. So I'd like to see... Oh. Alright, he's going with a more defensive approach. This could work out. I would have instinctively sacrificed the Elvish Thief to get more of a board presence. Completely wiping your enemy board is always good. Let's see. Now that we see more of the play, I'm thinking that Orking is running a undead deck. It'll be likely a swarm based, but RedMaster trades a centaur into that before too much of a swarm can build up. It's good to see. And a necromancer makes a good quick trade. Alright, I can only assume the Dino Rider will come out. It's a perfect card to trade against the 3 health necromancer. Especially seeing that the dinosaur nest in his hand will heal him up after a trade. Orking does not want to make that trade, obviously, so instead we see the fear come out. And let's see how RedMaster decides to proceed. I would recommend that he positions right here in front of the castle and uses the Call for Aid set up for his opponent to make mistakes rather than playing offensively on his own. Play a bit more defensively this turn. It's not quite what he decides to do. It's not, he didn't make a bad move, but it's also not quite as reliable in my opinion. So we're gonna see a quick attack. Gets a 3 gold, a 3/3 zombie. And I'm not sure if the Faithful Drake will go attack the castle or if anything else will happen this turn. Interesting. Alright. Normally you would like to prioritize the... Normally you'd like to prioritize a blue firebolt for a higher threat target than just a mini dino, but Orking chose otherwise, and RedMaster responds with putting a big combo of Dwarven Scope and the Bestial Rage. He won't be able to survive this turn unless his opponent makes a mistake. Which it looks like he may have. He just forget. Oh. No, I misread it. Too many fears nearly put Orking in a bad position and pushed the Dino Rider to safety. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, it clears the board a little bit and prepares for next turn with a double Northlands Ranger. So long as he uses that Medal of Bravery, his next turn will be incredibly strong. Looks like Orking's getting a bit desperate, using the card he got from the Banshee to draw, which means he does not have too much that's useful right now. So since RedMaster has the Rat King, it's gonna cost him a little bit in terms of the upkeep. He's being overly cautious, in my opinion, positioning his rats this way. These back two rats cannot reach the castle to attack this turn. This would be the right move were he playing against Vikings, but playing against an undead deck, he does not need to position so far back. If he had positioned one space forward, he's got more threats on the board. Now, Orking should have let the Rat King live. It's going to continue to cost RedMaster the upkeep. And he could have attacked any of the other rats instead. Now, the 10 gold this turn is going to allow Red to push out 2 Northlands Rangers. Absolutely devastating. And I don't think Orking will have a way to deal with it. Alright. So good stuff. RedMaster's positioning rats in front of his Northlands Rangers. This way, any unit that Orking might want to play to try and go forward and deal with the Rangers is going to have to get through the rats first. Instead, we see Rakanoth. And let's see where he decides to move. Alright, so he's managed to take out one of the Rangers and a bunch of other rats in the hovel. But still, RedMaster is relentless. I'm surprised he went for Bestial Rage here. It's something he could have saved with that attack. Now, RedMaster is stunned and he's going to take a free death on the Ranger. Should have instead used Mercenary Execution or just ignored that threat. In response to this turn, the Serpent Witch would have had to stun the Ranger anyway, and RedMaster could have saved that Bestial Rage. It really didn't provide him too much of a benefit. But now Sudden Death has kicked in, and with no Crusaders on the other side, meaning no healing, this is going to be the end of the game. So a few small positioning changes that I would like to make in this game, but again, he got the win, and quite well done. So well done, RedMaster. Let's take a look at the last game. Alright, match number 4 here. We're going to swap out the Dynaness and Bestial Rage. Now, before you do that, let's take a look at what this game shows us. So we can see he's playing against Unhelpful Yoda, and it looks like Yoda's running yellow and green. Quite common in these colors is School. Now, RedMaster's lucky here to get a Centaur in return, but the Centaur, if he did not have it, he has no way of getting to a school. Keeping that Bestial Rage would have been hugely beneficial in shutting down the opponent's win condition. So it's always useful to look at the opponent's factions before deciding on your mulligan. Alright, so a quick trade of Lumberjacks to start us out. Quite standard. In this scenario, RedMaster's got no 2 gold card. He can either choose to coin up as he did, or I would recommend actually that he hold on to that coin a little bit longer, since he doesn't have the most draw in this deck. He doesn't want to run his deck dry. Instead, he could have let that that turn happen with just a pass and taken an easy trade on the next turn. Alright. Maddie gives him a Mage Apprentice. And I bet Unhelpful Yoda will trade both his units into this Con Artist. It's always best to attack units that gain gold, like Con Artist and the Dread Pirate Robins on the opponent's turn, because RedMaster gets no gold that way. Alright, and we've seen a big boy come out over here in the form of Grendel. We're gonna have to find out how RedMaster's gonna deal with a Grendel on turn 4. One of the best things you can do, looks like he's doing it, is killing off all other units and then just protecting. So you're protecting the castle. In this case, RedMaster is also protecting the Mage Apprentice. So you're kind of delaying and letting it go one turn longer before you have to deal with the problem. Now, Yoda's presented a big problem. Top priority to send this Centaur forward, kill the school. You can deal with a hit to the castle from the Grendel or a death to the Mage Apprentice. You have to kill this. Have to kill the school. And I think that was quite a large mistake. We're going to hope that RedMaster is able to overcome it. Now, in theory, RedMaster is probably thinking that he can always kill the school on the next turn, but you may not get the chance to. Yoda could position to defend the school, and he could always benefit from choking out the enemy. Don't let it get to an opportunity to survive. In this case, it worked out all right, although Yoda does have some serious amounts of gold. 5 gold more than he would normally have, despite the upkeep of the fat bird over here, allowing for a Dramoth to come out on turn 7. Luckily for RedMaster, he's got the resources to deal with it. I'm surprised that he didn't opt to use this Mage Apprentice and the... Here, we'll rewind it just a moment. I'm surprised he didn't use the Mage Apprentice and the Dwarven Miner to kill that Dramoth, and then just send a Tyrannosaur forward, fearing his own Mage Apprentice back to safety. That way you're effectively trading a 2 gold card for a 12 gold card. At this point, I bet Yoda is figuring out that he's facing a Dino deck, and we'll see how he decides to deal with it. Alright, a bit defensively as he's amassing an army. The Mage Apprentice will be able to kill the swordsman, but it will have trouble with this Dramoth. If Yoda has any way of killing the Dino Rider, be it a Mercenary's Execution or something, this buffed Mage Apprentice is dead. Luckily for RedMaster, that doesn't happen this time, so Yoda positions defensively in order to protect his hovel and his fat bird against any sort of companions that Red might have. So, just gonna stop for a moment. Something that RedMaster could do here is he can move his Elvish Thief forward to one of these 2 squares, drop the Centaur, then attack with the Elvish Thief, and then rush in with the Centaur to kill the hovel. It's probably the better option here. Now, as I was saying earlier, the coin that he spent has made it so that he's only got 2 cards left in the deck. They're not particularly useful at this moment. The Mercenary's Execution can't be used on Craxus. He's going to have to use it on the Fat Bird to make some sort of use of this turn. But really, he's running out of cards very quickly. So it seems that RedMaster is almost playing out of desperation. He's holding on to this Mage Apprentice as his last resort to victory. And we see a third Craxus come out from Yoda. I don't think RedMaster is going to have any chance of coming back from this one. A Dwarven Scope is not what he needed. He needs a strong unit. Instead, he's just going to get swarmed and overloaded. The Craxus will draw, killing his last hope. And we may see a surrender coming out soon. Yoda now, we can see how quickly a school deck can go from nearly no cards to a full hand, getting plenty of gold each turn. And Yoda's seriously choking out RedMaster. There's not much he could do, but a nice Mordok may help just extend the game a little bit longer. Unfortunately, this time it's not going to be the most helpful. Yoda will be able to use his Cannoneer to kill the Mordok without summoning any more units and press his advantage even more. Okay, a Mercenary's Execution will do the trick as well. Dwarven Scope to keep the Cannoneer in a safe range. And at this point, when it's sudden death and you can't heal anymore and your opponent's castle is at 14 health and looking like this, it's the end of the game. There's no coming back. But it was a well-played game, and I would have liked to have seen RedMaster take out that school immediately rather than letting it survive. Yoda did get lucky with the triple Craxus though, so it's hard to say how the game would have played out if RedMaster had made those positioning changes. Anyway, I hope you liked this first series. Remember that if you want to get a replay of your own reviewed, find the comment section, put a comment, or you can find me on Discord or Reddit, and we'll find a way to give you personalized feedback on your gameplay. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.